Hi guys, so second part of the video, in case you haven't watched the previous video, it's how we met, because originally the idea was to do this Q&A. I asked you guys a couple of weeks ago on my Instagram, which if you don't follow me there, you should. And I told you guys to ask whatever you wanted. I asked you on YouTube as well. But the question that we always get the most is how we met, so we decided to answer that on a separate video. So that video, it's no. Thank you, okay, cut that out. So the answer to that is on video, on its own.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's just get to it. And number one, if you were to live together, what country would you choose? And there was a very similar question that said, are either of you considering moving? Mexico would be a great and exciting move for Liam. Yeah. Are either of you considering moving? Yeah.
You.
Me. Yes, I'm considering moving to the UK. Well, not even considering, I feel like in a long distance relationship, like the final goal should always be to be together, or else like there's no point really. So I feel like it was one of the main things we talked about when we decided to be in a relationship. In order to make this work, obviously the final goal is to be together physically at some point all the time. So how's that gonna work? How are we gonna be seeing each other, and when can we live together, and who would be able to do it, and so on. We got to the conclusion that obviously I would move to the UK because, fun fact, I've always been sort of like, I don't want to say obsessed.
I was gonna say this.
I don't want to say
You've
obsessed.
always wanted to live in the UK
But
anyway.
there was a point where I had like a really strong fixation, is that the word?
Yeah, I guess so.
For the UK?
Culturally, and you love all the pop culture,
There
obviously,
was
we know that.
Yeah, like there was a point where my room was UK themed. That sounds crazy. I think about it now and it's like, why would someone have a room themed like a country, as a country, you know?
Just the Union Jack everywhere.
Yeah, and so my covers, my bed covers were the Union Jack flag. That's why I have that cushion. I had the flag like hanged on my wall. My school bag was literally the flag. My computer, my old Mac, it has the flag. It was specially made, so it had the flag.
And you only got rid of it all because you met me, you didn't want to look like a big loser, yeah?
No.
No, that's not true.
So I had tons of like things, because I always love the culture, I love the country, I love the music. I mean, tons of posters here, Pink Floyd, Beatles, Rolling Stones. I completely love the music. Well, like I said, the culture and all of that, so...
And when you came, you loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, funnily enough, it was always like a dream to me, because last year when I went and visited him, it was my first time ever in Europe. When I turned 15, if you're from Mexico, you would know that, like... Am I not talking a lot? Is it fine?
Yeah, it's fun, it's
Okay.
great.
When a girl turns 15, it's like a big deal. So you either do a huge party, or you go on a cruise, or you do like this big holiday, like you travel somewhere. When I turned 15, I said I want to go to the UK right away, but it was obviously really expensive because it was not only me, it was like my whole family going. So my dad said no, and so I went to LA instead because it's closer and it was cheaper. I always thought like the idea of going to the UK was so far away. I was like, it's so expensive to go there. I don't even know like in which context I was gonna travel there. It's weird. My dad always tells me like, you manifested this your whole life. Like since you were a kid, you manifested dating a British guy. Like, and he said like, it's so funny because you've always had crush on people like, you know, George Harrison, British guys, you know, like it's just, and he's like, the fact that you're now dating one, it's so surreal. So yeah, my dream has always been to go to the UK, to move to the UK. Putting aside how I love the country and I had this fascination over it, realistically and logically speaking, as much as Mexico can be like something exotic for Liam, I wouldn't put him through that, in the sense of in his country, like I said, logically speaking, he has way better job opportunities, economics, politics, everything in the country. I mean, it's a first world country, so I wouldn't tell him, oh yeah, move, or he's already in a really good situation, and I wouldn't be like, yeah, move here where you're not gonna have the same quality of life. As much as I love my culture, I love my people, I love everything about it, like it's my home, I've always been here. As much as I can love it, I do have like a very realistic view of it, and I know that it's full of violence, especially for women. It's not safe here, economy is awful, you have to work a lot and you get paid very little. It's just a lot of issues. Politics is going downhill. I mean, it's been for quite some time, but now it's even worse.
That's same in the UK, that one part.
So logically, the best option for us to have like a nice quality of life is the UK. And my dad has always told me, I put you in a bilingual school. In my school, they taught me English and French since I was in kindergarten. So he told me like the whole point of me putting you in a school like that is precisely so you can move, so you can go to another country, because you know, knowing another language opens so many doors to you. So he's like, that was the plan all along, you know, like if you have the opportunity to move, do those things that I wasn't able to do. So yeah, he's like, of course I'm gonna miss you and all of that, but you know, that's why airplanes exist, so there's nothing to limit us seeing each other, and you're gonna have a happy and a better life. So yes, the conclusion is that we'd move to the UK. Well, I'd move to the UK.
And you'd be with me.
Yes. Besides, he loves his country too much. He wouldn't want to leave it.
I do. Yeah. I could not leave England. I just couldn't do that. Even for you. No, but you know. No, complicated, isn't that? There's a lot of things involved with that, but I think you basically said it perfectly.
Do you have worries about being public with your relationship? What if there's a painful breakup? That's a really good question.
Yeah, I don't get it. Am I worried about
being public with your relationship? Because we share so much on social media, I guess.
No.
Like, what if there's a painful breakup? And I guess quite a bit of people follow us or are aware.
Doesn't every person make everything public in the day of social media?
Yeah,
just,
I get.
Logically, if we did break up, which we'll never do, you just delete all the photos and
Delete
then say you're single now. Isn't that just the case for everybody?
I guess people say it maybe
Yes.
because I don't want to say it. Maybe because I have a bit of following. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I have the biggest following, but maybe.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I don't know if that was like the intention of the question.
Yeah, but you don't have to make a big song and dance about it on your Instagram, would you?
Yeah, true. I would just delete everything and that's it.
Never mention it.
Yeah, exactly. Just
before
like
you know it.
Move on. Do you have worries about being public with your relationship? No, I don't have any worries. It's just not something that ever crossed my mind. I never thought like, oh, I'm not gonna post too much about this because what if then we break up? Like, it's just, I don't think that way. I'm with him right now and I'm really happy, and those pictures or videos make me happy and I share it and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't really, it's just as simple as that.
It's exactly the same for me, and it's like I couldn't be more proud that you're my girlfriend. So
I feel like my answer to this question is like Tarantino's answer. I do it for me and everyone else is just invited. I feel like my Instagram is sort of that way. Most of the film pictures that I have are us going out and then on the moment let's take this, we take it and so on. Rather than, an Instagram post, my film pictures are like just memories for me. I have my negatives, I have all of that. I have my memories and I do it because of that, and then I share them and everyone just gets invited to see them, and if they like it, great, and it's just that way. I don't know.
Next question.
What are your top 10 favorite movies and what are your favorite directors? I'll let you.
10 favorite movies? That's a lot of movies.
You can start with favorite directors.
Oh god. My favorite directors. That's a difficult question. And the worst bit is it's in the moment. Thinking that directors, it's in the moment. Films, I can name some of my favorite movies.
Try and name 10.
Oh god. Let me think. Right. Obviously, my main one is Evil Dead 2. I should have had these written down. The Rocky Horror Picture Show has always been one of my favourites. Rocky. Rocky Horror is around here with that. I love Batman 1989. It's always been one of my favourite films. I love The School of Rock, which I like. That's probably the dumbest one on my list. It's not exactly like an Oscar award.
I can probably name your 10 favorite movies.
A Clockwork Orange. Right, okay. And I bet these will change as well. I'll watch this video back and I'll be like, oh no, it's these.
Ghostbusters?
Oh, of course. That's the most, of course, Ghostbusters.
I don't know if The Silence of the Lambs is up there.
It probably is up there.
So you're just missing 2.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? You're only definitely up there. Probably something by John Carpenter. Maybe The Thing. That's gonna be up there as well, I think. There's probably a lot of really obvious films that I'm missing out.
I told you to write this down. I told you.
She did tell me to write this down and I forgot about that.
Because this is a perfect question because we both love movies so much.
Yeah.
Now, I did wrote mine down because I tend to forget as well. Lord of the Rings. I count this just like a whole thing. The trilogy is one single thing. But if I had to choose, my favorite one from the trilogy is The Return of the King. I'll count that as just one. Cinema Paradiso, Donnie Darko, Fight Club, Dead Poets Society, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 500 Days of Summer, This is England, And the next one is technically not a movie, but I don't care. It's a masterpiece. And I see it like at least once a week. And it's Bo Burnham's Inside. Anything by Bo Burnham, I love it. So those are my top 10.
He's okay.
And your favorite directors?
Well, John Carpenter
John
is
Carpenter.
definitely a pretty obvious one. Stanley Kubrick, I love. Kind of cheesy ones like, you know, Kubrick and Spielberg, Hitchcock, masters of cinema. As cheesy as they are to pick, I guess it's kind of like my music taste. People ask me a lot like, oh, what's your favourite bands or songs? And I'm kind of a person who likes solo artists more than anything. I like with music, I like to pick and choose all different things.
Yeah.
So it's like same with films and directors. I pick and choose a lot of different stuff, but definitely those guys. I think most people throw Tarantino in there as well,
Yeah.
but you know, probably Carpenter's going to be the top.
And I only have 2 favorite directors. The main one is John Hughes. I love him.
It's hard not to love John Hughes.
Yeah. I have a Breakfast Club poster, but you can't see it. It's way up there.
I could have said Planes, Trains and Automobiles, one of
It's
my
a
favourite
good
films
one.
as well.
I love every single thing that John Hughes does. I love it. And David Fincher. Those are my 2 favorites. The next one is, does anything have changed since you met in person?
No, it has.
Has, right? Has anything have changed?
Has anything changed?
Has anything have changed since you met in person?
Everything changed since we met last year. Everything's changed. I know how you feel. I know how you smell. I know you better than I ever could have done on the other end of the world. I know how you act. I know I know what it's like to live with you. Everything's changed. It's changed everything.
Everything, yeah, it has changed. Technically, everything has changed, but for the better. I don't think anything changed for the worse. I feel like most people would always, before this, they would tell me like, oh, you're in a long distance relationship, have you met him? And it's like, well, no, I've never like seen him in real life. They're like, oh, but how can you be in a relationship if you've never actually seen him? What if you meet each other and you don't like how he smells, or there's something you just don't click being next to each other, you don't like, well, little details that you can only know in person.
It's interesting though, because I know you were really nervous the first time we met, as you should be. But it's weird because I wasn't. I also never thought that, oh, you know, maybe there's something I won't like about her. Like that. I never thought that
Yeah.
way. And I was right. I love everything about you. So it's like, there's not a thing.
I was only nervous because I was like, what if he's disappointed on how I look? I always say I'm a catfish online. I don't think I look as good as I
She's
look
not a
on my
catfish
pictures.
online.
So
She
I
says
always,
this all the time.
I was like, I don't know, what if, you know, he sees me in real life and he's just disappointed? I don't know.
Takes photos on like a camera from the 70s. It's like analog camera. It's like what you see on the camera is literally what's there in front of you. And she's like, I'm a catfish. How does that work?
Yeah, again, nothing changed in the sense of like, oh, I actually ended up not liking this. No, everything changed, but for the better. The next question is, what's your favorite song as a couple?
Do we have a couple song? Probably something about the Smiths.
Yeah, I don't think we have a specific
We don't have a specific song, do we?
but anything the Smiths probably.
We like the Home song.
We like Home.
We like Home.
Yeah.
Home is nice. I've
I
always
like Home
associated
by-
that with you.
By Tom Rosenthal, the cover he
Yeah.
does, it's a really good one. The vinyl that is there in the back, The Queen Is Dead, that belonged to
Is it there?
Liam.
Or is it here?
I don't know
where
what's
it is.
gonna be.
It's gonna be there.
That belonged to Liam. Now I've been collecting vinyls for many years now. I have like over 300 vinyls, and I've never come across this vinyl by the Smiths, probably just once, and it was really expensive. For some reason it's really expensive to get them here.
Very strange for such a popular band.
Yeah.
Even, and you know, Mexico, because the Morrissey's following in Mexico, you'd think.
Well, a disclaimer, because you're gonna be like, oh, you can find that, you just, you know, order it on Amazon or whatever. I don't like to purchase new pressings, so almost every vinyl I have is like a very early pressing, because the sound is better, the quality is better. Vinyls nowadays are made like 90% plastic, 10% vinyl. They get dirty more easily, the quality of the sound is not the same, and so on. But I've been able to get some pretty like good classic albums in like an early pressing, not necessarily a new pressing. But I've never for example, I came across the Rocky 2 soundtrack. Just very niche things, I feel. But never a Smiths one. I don't know why. And so when I went to the UK and he had it, it's like, oh, it's the first time I've seen a Smiths album, especially like The Queen Is Dead. You know, I've never like touched it. I don't know.
Yeah.
He gave it to me. He said, you can have it.
You can find one in every shop in Manchester. The Queen is dead. It's like every corner shop will probably have the Queen is dead, so...
I don't know, I just thought it was like it's a very nice gift because, again, if you've seen the first video of us, how we met, because the Smiths played a massive role in our relationship, and well, it's basically the reason that we're together. It was like a very significant gift.
You're welcome.
The next one is, what were some of each other's green flags?
Oh, right, yeah, green flag, yeah. Oh, that's easy. Your taste in music, obviously, film, and your fit. So...
Being pretty is a green flag.
Don't know, is it? Is that how it works? Or is it things like how you act, what you do? Yeah, it is.
One thing to know about Liam is that he's like a boomer. He literally is like a boomer. He struggles so much to say he has over 10k on Instagram and he's quite active on social media. He's such a boomer.
I know what red flags mean. He's it's like well, I can't know what it means, but it's all really pathetic stuff. It's like, oh, he watches Scarface, it must mean he hates women or something. I don't know, like, or something like that.
So are those your green flags for me?
I guess. Right, you say yours first, and then I'll get a better idea.
Okay, I feel like my green flag for Liam was that he was so committed. Like, he still gives me so much attention. He would answer me in like a millisecond, and he would always find the time to video call me, and he would just put me first, like a priority, and he would always do time for me, even if the day was busy or he was tired or anything. And that to me meant a lot. I don't know, it made me feel really loved. So to me that was a green flag, because he was like, oh, no one has ever, like, I guess, dedicated so much of his life to me in that sense. So that was one. And obviously in a more superficial level, I guess, yeah, the music taste, the fact that he's a big film fan and he has a lot of film knowledge and pop culture knowledge and things like that. I don't know, I've always been into nerds, and he's like the greatest nerd of all. He's like the biggest nerd in the world.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess I can add on to mine then.
What?
That you're probably the most thoughtful human being
Aww.
on the planet. And I mean, like, she doesn't forget anything.
That's true.
It's like Microsoft headquarters in here. It's like there's all the servers in this head that stores 1 billion terabytes of information. She forgets nothing. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's a blessing. And yeah, I think, you know, you're the most thoughtful person ever. It's probably the main green flag for me.
I'm trying to think. I guess it's just every single thing was a green flag. Really.
Yeah.
It just went
No
perfect.
negatives, is there?
Yeah. The next one is, what are your top 3 favorite books and why do you recommend them? Now Liam doesn't read, so I've tried to get him to read. I've read him.
No,
I've read him Stephen King, but he doesn't.
I don't think I've read a book since I was in school. I love Captain Underpants. They're great books. I love... Where's Wally don't count because there's hardly any words in it. It's mainly just pictures in it. Do you know what? In a way, I don't care. I fucking love Where's Wally. I love Where's Wally. Right?
Okay.
That's one of my favourite books. I don't care what anyone says about it. And also, I did read A Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
I love A Clockwork Orange, but I can't really think of more at the minute. Oh, anything by Roald Dahl.
Okay.
As a kid growing up, I loved Roald Dahl. I read loads of his stuff. His autobiography he wrote called Boy. It was a fantastic book, absolutely fantastic book. But yeah, no Dickens or anything like that from me. It's better if she answers hers.
My favorite book, well, yes, for the top 3. But the main one is called Persona Normal by Benito Taibo. He's a Mexican author. And the reason why do I recommend it, because it's gonna change your life. That's it. It's just, you're never gonna be the same person after that. I've always said that book saved my life in a literal way. I love it. I wanna be buried with it. That's the main one. After that, I don't really, I'm looking at my bookshelf right now.
I was about to say, she's looking over there because she's got
because
so many books.
I love the Percy Jackson series. Anything from Percy Jackson, I'm a huge fan. When I turned 18, my cake was a Percy Jackson. I don't care what people say.
Because you're a Greek mythology nerd.
Yeah, I don't care that it's a book for pre-teens, for 13-year-old kids. I turned 18 and my cake was Percy Jackson. It was amazing. You know something? I love anything by John Green. I've read everything that John Green has written. I'm a huge fan of coming of age, teenage dramas, things like that, and he's the man for that. So I love that one. I guess, I mean, I know I didn't say too specific, but okay, I will say my favorite John Green book is An Abundance of Catherines. That's the best one. And let me just check if I can like recommend anything else. I'm not a serial killer. It's a really good series. Wait a second.
Have a short intermission.
You can cut that out. The main genre that I read is coming of age, so I have tons of coming of age that I really love. I'll Give You the Sun. I love that one. I'm just gonna stop there because I've read this so long ago, but that's a really good book as well.
What about the works of J.K. Rowling?
See, I wouldn't say they're my favorite. I love them. Yes, I do love the Lord of the Rings series.
I said J.K. Rowling.
Please edit that out.
I'm not editing that out. There's no way I'm editing that out. I'm not editing that out.
I heard J, and I immediately thought J.R.R. Tolkien.
The reason why that's so funny is because she hates Harry Potter.
I absolutely
And you love Lord of the Rings and you watch it.
I heard J, and I was like, yeah, J.R.R. Tolkien.
No,
Like,
but seriously though, she knows everything about Lord of the Rings. You are like the biggest Lord of the Rings fan around.
Yes.
But you do hate Harry Potter.
And I've met Gimli. You should put the picture of Gimli.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, you did. John Rhys Davis.
Yeah, lovely
Thanks
man.
to me.
Yes. Lovely
to you.
man. He said I was really pretty and he kissed my hand.
I've just lost you like 20 subscribers because I've said that you don't like Harry Potter.
I don't care, it has to be said. It's like that meme, Harry Potter was never good, you were just 9. It's the truth. It's the truth. But I didn't want to mention it. I didn't want to mention it because we are going to do another video of popular movies we hate.
Yes.
But
so there's a little taste of that one for you.
That's going to be some controversial.
We're going to argue on that, I
We're
think.
definitely going to argue.
We're definitely going to argue. You're going to want to
The
see
time that
one.
we argue the most is when it comes to movies.
Oh yeah.
How do you deal with mean comments and critics before you met each other in real life?
I think this is again another question for you because I don't recall having much. I mean, you had the typical, you know, like people in England. You still do. It's like, oh, you know, I date a girl who lives in Mexico. She's Mexican. She lives in Mexico. And you know, I was like, Mexico? Other side of the world? I couldn't be bothered doing that. And it's like, yeah, I understand that. Like I said in the last video about long distance relationships, we had that whole talk about it. So I still get that kind of thing. But they always end up being like, oh, she's really pretty, oh, I'm happy for you, oh, she's lovely, Helps that we've spent so much time with each other in person and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's solidified that now. But personally, I never see any mean comments about us specifically as a couple.
Yeah.
No, I never see anything like that.
I probably have gotten a few angry DMs every now and again.
No, the only thing I've ever seen is salty men commenting on her photos, going like, "Oh, you deserve better than him."
Yeah, I do get things
some
like
losers
that. Yeah.
commenting on your stuff.
There's some guys that like when I specifically upload stories when I'm with Liam and they criticize everything he does, like if he's playing piano, it's like technically that's not the correct way of doing it, but other than that, not really critics. I guess people before I met him in real life, they were like, but how can you know for sure? Like how can you know if you love him for sure if you've never seen him in real life? They were like, it's not a real relationship. Dating online without ever seeing him, it's not a real relationship. I never say things to that. It's just like, yeah, sure, because I know how I feel. I know how the deal is.
Well, it's like with stuff like that, and people say, "Oh, do you know each other?" Blah, blah, and people are critical thinking in that way. I've always been fine with it because I don't know. Maybe if I wasn't in this position, I'd probably think and say the same things. It's not strange, but it's like, yes, I'm dating someone on the other side of the world, so it's like people are going to be curious or people are not going to understand.
The next question is, what do you have in common? See if you agree with your partner's answer.
Well, we've been through this about 4 times, haven't we?
Yes.
Things in common: movies, films.
That's the same thing, baby.
Pretty much it. Yeah, but we've said it loads of times. You know, that is what we have in common.
Music.
Yeah, music.
And I'm gonna say a really
Music and
niche thing to make it more interesting because we've said that
Yeah.
thousands of times.
She's the smart one, by the way. I mean, I feel like, well, no, I think I'm smarter, but I think you're just more
I think you're smarter and I'm more intelligent.
Sure, we'll go with that.
We have this thing in common that I feel like I've never had this in common with anyone. It's such a niche thing to have. So the fact that we both love it, it's weird, but it's amazing. And it's that we both have like a fascination for, not necessarily creepy, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I'm just gonna give examples.
Yeah, I know where this is going.
Abandoned animatronics, abandoned theme parks, seeing dark rides in light, abandoned movie props, movie sets, or that were later found. It's just like tiny stuff, and we can be watching videos or investigating this like for hours.
Yeah, even though it's hard to explain, I'm sure a lot of people watching this will understand.
Yeah.
Because it's a common thing to see on YouTube these days.
Yeah,
and I think there's a nostalgia factor involved where like people want to know the history of stuff, people want to know the weird stuff, what happened to this, what happened to that. Usually stuff from your childhood. I think that's why a lot of the movie stuff comes into that, and obviously it's got that creepy dark edge to it. We also have a similar fear of big objects.
Yes.
I don't think I can tie this to a phobia because I'm not scared of big objects because you know I love buildings.
Yeah.
I love huge buildings. It's not nothing to do with that. It's big statues of people.
Like for example, if you're from Monterrey, in Wendy's, that big Wendy that they put on top of the building sat down waving. That's the fear. That's the fear. I think they haven't put it in there for a couple of years now.
I think with that, it's like that I'd find cool. I don't gotta be scared of that, but I think it depends on the situation you're in. Like for me, you know this. When you go on like a theme park ride, it's a dark ride, and if in the dark ride it's like a really dark environment and there's this big face or it's a really niche thing to explain, and I don't think it's easy to explain unless you know it.
It gives me the creeps every time I have to drive.
This has gone so off the rails.
Every time I
this
have to
question,
drive.
hasn't it? Like what are we talking about?
Every time I have to drive there. I think they used to put it around winter. I might be wrong, but I feel like they used to put it in a certain season. But anyway, yes. So that's another thing we have in common.
Yeah, pretty niche thing.
This is a good one, but it's gonna be a really tricky one. It says for British people, is Oasis like the Tree for the Mexicans?
The what for the Mexicans?
Tree. It's a band.
Tree.
Yes, a Mexican band.
Right.
You know,
you know both those bands, so you'll have to.
You took a picture of me with Alex Lora, the singer.
Oh yes.
In Wax Museum, he has a guitar that it's the middle finger.
Yes.
Yeah. See, this is tricky.
Well, I guess in Britain, I mean, obviously I can only talk about the Oasis side of it. It's like in England, everybody knows Oasis. I don't think there's a person in England who doesn't know Oasis song. I was fully convinced of that. Especially something like Don't Look Back in Anger. That's like such a huge anthem, and you know.
Yeah.
So I guess is that what that band is like for Mexico? I guess that's what it is.
I mean, it's just
you know what England's like with Oasis now.
It's tricky, yes. I mean,
so
it's really tricky because I don't know if you mean it in the sense of like when Mexicans say phrases like pongan caifanes. That is like that annoying old uncle that he's like, ¿tú qué vas a saber de rock, chamaco pendejo? Like superiority, because I love rock, and which I'm that way. I don't care. I'm that way.
I don't think there's anything like that to do with Oasis in England though.
No.
Everyone loves, not everyone loves Oasis. I shouldn't say that because there's such a famous band, you're always going to people don't like Oasis.
But
it's like the Beatles. People are going to say, Beatles are the best band ever. People are going to be like, I don't like the Beatles. They're overrated. They're this to that. Same with Oasis. I mean, Oasis is loved by all generations. And,
I mean,
I do
think British people go crazy over Oasis.
Oh yeah.
Like if you play that on a pub, everyone is
Yes.
gonna like sing at the top of their lungs, and it really hypes them up. So
stick cigarettes and alcohol on in a pub, and the place will erupt.
So
usually
that's how it is. Like they for the most part they love Oasis. My mother probably really proud because it's a really good band and it's from Manchester. So there it is. I hope that answered more or less.
Probably didn't.
It probably didn't. I'm sorry. Next question is regarding this relationship. What will you tell younger you?
That's a good question. Commit faster and be better.
I'd probably say break up with whoever you're dating right now.
Go find him.
Yeah, I guess. There's way better things are coming. The love of your life is coming. You just gotta wait for it.
That's a simple one. That's probably how long every question should have been, really.
The next one is more of like a suggestion, but it was a weird one. I put it here because I thought it was like a pretty random one. And it says, do a Saul Goodman and Kim Wexler cosplay.
I haven't watched that much Breaking Bad.
I just thought it was so random. Like, from all characters in existence, why you a Saul Goodman?
What does he look like? I mean, I think I can see it, but I'll probably know the actor as well. But I haven't seen the rest of Breaking Bad, and I haven't seen Better. I've seen Saul Goodman. I've seen him because
I've seen Breaking Bad like 5 times, like all of the 5 seasons.
I'm working my way through it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just quite random. I mean, thank you.
He looks like Steven Seagal.
I mean, thank you. Maybe we might do it someday. He wants to. I'll tell you this.
What would that cost? What would that stick on a suit or looking like?
Yeah. I'll tell you something though. know, maybe know Saul Goodman, but he does a great cosplay for Ash Williams of Evil Dead, and he wants to do a cosplay of the Joker, so we might get that done.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Next thing, any advice for couples that are afraid of being too far from each other?
It's not really my place to say. You have a much better answer again than me. I'm so blunt. I think it's maybe it's because the British thing. I don't know. I'm kind of just so laid back, and Pame isn't laid back. Well, you are. I mean, you're not hard work. It's not really my place to say. You know, it depends on the people. If you love them that much, then make it work. And I don't really have too much to add myself. I don't really have much to add to what I've just said. I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
You know, if you love them, then I don't know, go make it. If it makes you happy, do what makes you happy. Do what's good for you, or you're not good for anybody. That's a Billy Joel lyric.
I don't know, if you're in a relationship and someone is going to study abroad or something like that, my advice would just be dedicate time to each other. Make it some sort of priority. Respect the time that you have with each other and have tons of good communication, but also have a partner that understands that communication, because no matter how well you can communicate, it's gonna be pointless if the other person doesn't understand it. So good communication, but also a really good understanding of that communication. And again, work towards a main goal. That would be it. It's gonna be a bit hard getting there, but if you work towards that main goal, then you just gotta make a bit of sacrifices and just think that it's temporary, and one day, if you work hard enough for it, then it's all gonna be worth it.
See how much better she is at this than I am, right there.
How do you plan your photographs and the editing? That's for me, Leia. No, don't go. I don't really plan my photographs. It's rare. I do have some specific photo shoots with some certain vibes that I want to do with him, especially because now I have the backdrop and things like that. But it's rare that I say like, oh, we're gonna do this photo shoot, we're gonna do this and that. Like, I don't know. Most of the times it's selfies. Sometimes we put the timer. Sometimes it's like, oh, just take it right here. How do we pose? Oh, this way. That's it. It's like in the moment. And so I don't really plan that much.
A lot of your stuff is in the moment.
Yeah.
Photos you've done on film with me have always been.
I've just started to try and plan more because, like I said, I got the backdrop and I want to like experiment way more. And so we are planning, well, I am planning a photo shoot, a Rocky inspired, boxing inspired. So honestly, I just picture it in my head and I just try to recreate what I'm seeing, and that's it. It's probably a really shitty answer coming from a photographer, I'm sorry, but yeah. And the editing, again, I don't really plan it. What I will do say is that I just like warm tones. That's it. As long as it looks warm, I'm fine with it. Editing changes from photo to photo because it depends on the light, it depends on the mood, it depends on the idea that I had for that specific photo. So it's not gonna be the same, but it's always gonna be try to be warm. I don't think I do massive, extensive editing on photos because, like I said, I shoot on film already. So that alone, I guess, already gives it some sort of feeling to it. I do try to always shoot on Kodak because Kodak is a more warm film roll. So that combined with a bit more editing to give it more warm, more grain. I love warm and tons of grain, tons of texture, and that's it. But again, I don't really plan it. It's just depends on the picture and depends on the mood that I want to set the picture in. The next one, it was also just a comment, but I thought it was really sweet. So it says, I like your post so much. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to say that. That was by Andreas Wenninger. What's the worst food from England and Mexico? What's that laugh?
I know what you're gonna say. Baked beans.
Yes.
I'm trying to think from Mexico. Oh, that papaya fruit. Oh, it was dog shit. I hated that. What else did I hate? You see, currently I'm in Mexico, obviously. I've been here for 2 days. So I'm trying to think back to last year, really. Because so far, I've had some really amazing food. And I mostly have it, like really amazing food all the time. But I'm trying to think last year, what did I not like?
I mean...
That papaya, I really didn't like that. I can't even remember how it tastes, I just know I didn't like it. I'm glad it's gone out of my brain.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say for me, obviously, the baked beans.
Yeah.
Which is basically watery ketchup beans. Disgusting. That shouldn't exist.
I'm not really a fan of baked beans. So
and the sausage, I hate that brown, weird sausage that
wrong.
They have.
You're wrong with that. Sausage
Horrible.
in England is fantastic. Because I will say this. In Mexico, they don't really have sausage. It's all like those crappy, like hot dog sausages. You know, it's not like real meat sausages. It's like some processed, crappy German wiener thing. You know, the stuff that you find in like a can, you stick it in a pan and then, a hot dog. It's just like, oh, no. It's not like a proper, sausage, right?
Well,
they don't exist here. They don't even exist, sausages
He
here.
hates the sausages from Mexico and I hate the sausages from the UK.
Yeah, but you're wrong. You're the one who's wrong, though.
I didn't like.
I don't hate them. I don't even hate the sausage. I love hot dogs. I love hot dogs.
I mean, okay, yeah, you don't hate them, but you're not a fan of them.
No, I am. I love hot dogs. I'm just saying you don't have proper sausages.
You're like, no, this is not a real
yeah,
sausage.
I mean, they are processed crap though. But we all eat processed crap.
Okay, then.
I love all American food. It's all processed
baked
crap.
beans, sausage, and I know this is not technically British, it's a worldwide thing, but I did not like the milk from over there. I almost threw up.
That's another thing as well. You don't have proper milk here.
I like our milk.
Sausage.
I like the milk from here. I didn't like that one. It tasted really weird.
Yours tastes really weird to me.
I know.
That's just the way it goes.
To sum it up, yeah, he didn't like the papaya, he hated it, but it's fine because papaya makes me throw up too. I don't like it.
There we go.
And I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be a really bad thing to say, a blasphemy. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it's blasphemous.
Yeah.
To what, the UK?
No.
To Mexico?
Yes.
Ooh.
And he said he does like it, but he's not a big fan of tortillas.
Yeah, it depends on the tortilla. Because we had some today, I had one today and I really liked it. Like, that was the one.
You only had one.
Yeah, I only had one because I wasn't in the mood for eating tortillas today. But I had one today at that restaurant, and that's it tastes like how I imagine a tortilla. But a lot of the time the tortillas here, they taste like raw to me, like raw bread.
The next one is, how did you grow your account and became published? Like I said in the video of how we met, only 2-3 years ago I was in like 2,000 followers, which is not really a lot. It was all people that I knew, close friends and all. I like to think I got better at film photography, and I always say that when you do things with passion and with love, that shows, and people love that. People can see that you do it with love and with passion, and they dig that. They love it.
Advice.
I just stick with that, you know, that was always my passion, and I just kept doing it, and I guess people start noticing more and more, and it just grew. I did got like some big film online mags, as you would call them. They did reposted my photos, so sometimes that would give me quite some followers and so on. Sometimes a picture would go somewhat like viral, you know, with the hashtags, or it would pop up in a lot of explore pages. Why? I don't know. I don't understand the algorithm. Sometimes I have really bad periods, sometimes I have really good periods. Yeah, I don't know, there's no secret formula really. What I would suggest is just, you know, as cheesy as it may sound, do what you love and love what you do, and then people will follow at some point. It may take a while, but at some point something might grow out of that. And how you got published, in case you haven't seen, I showed this in one of my videos, but if you haven't seen it, because that's in Spanish, here's me in a photography book. Can you see that? So this book was sold out in Korea. I know it's crazy, but I've been published in quite some books. I've been published in this one that is from Korea. I've been published in one from Japan and another one from Paris, which in that one from Paris, there's a picture of Liam there, actually.
Forgot about that.
But sadly, I couldn't get a physical copy of those. They told me that they couldn't send it. They wouldn't like ship worldwide, so I don't have a physical copy of those, just of this one. But yeah, how that happened, again, every single magazine reached out to me on my Instagram, like, we love your work, we would love to publish you, like, would you allow us to? And I'm like, sure, yeah, you can use my pictures, whatever. That's how it happened. Again, I don't know, they came across my work at some point on Instagram, I'm guessing, and they just reached out to me, and that's it. So I'm sorry, I don't really have like an advice. I've never reached out to a magazine, none of that. The next one is, what do you think of Babylon? I personally love it. It came out just a few days ago. We are planning on going to the movies to see it.
Our first movie trip.
Yeah, we've never been to the movies together. We watch movies all the time. Sometimes we've even watched 4 films in a single day. That's all we do, watch movies.
Yeah.
So we might go and see it. I really want to see it because I love Brad Pitt, I love Tobey Maguire, I love films that talk about film, and I know that this is a heavy critic towards Hollywood in the 1920s. So I'm interested to see that. So yeah, I haven't seen it. We are planning on seeing it, and if you guys would love for the both of us, I know all of my film analysis and reviews have been in Spanish, but if you guys are interested in hearing what we have to say about it, let us know and we'll happily do a video talking about the movie. How complicated is that one person likes the everyday food of the other?
Yeah? How complicated is that? Do you understand this?
Yes, I understand in Spanish. I know what you're trying. Don't worry, whoever wrote this.
Oh,
I get
translated?
you. I get you. I guess like how hard it is for you to like my everyday meals. I get the question, I'll answer it. It's not hard. So he has a really open mind. He tries everything. So
everything, don't I?
Yeah.
There's literally nothing I won't
so
try.
he has adapted really, really well.
I won't eat a dog or all. I'm not saying you eat a dog.
Yeah.
I just meant I try anything.
And I feel like it was the
you know.
same. I don't think it was complicated for me when I went to the UK and I stayed there for a month. I loved every single thing that your mom cooked.
There's similarities between the food. You know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, so it was not complicated. I adapted to, I guess, your menu pretty quick, and you've been doing the same. The next one is just a comment. It says, I love you so much. You're so cute. You look great together, and I hope you always stay together. I love you.
Thank you very much.
Very
love you
sweet.
too.
The next one is, how do you deal with distance? Love from Venezuela. Love to Venezuela from Mexico and the UK.
You just deal with it. I guess, isn't it? You just do it. How do you deal with distance? It doesn't bother me. I miss you when I'm not with you, but we've done this for 3 years.
I think we are pretty independent people. As much as we can miss each other when we're far away, we've never cried or we've never been like, I just miss you so much. I don't know if I can do this. Like, that has never been. We just go along with it, really. Like,
what more can you do?
Yeah, we see each other on video call. We give each other a lot of time.
You just gotta make the most of what you got and just roll with it.
I have friends that tell me like, oh, you know, I was dating this girl for like 3 years and then she moved to Europe to study university and we broke up. Like, it just didn't work on a long distance. Like, it was too hard for each other. I don't think we're like that. Plus, I think a major thing, because a lot of people tell me this, they're like, but how do you deal with like the physical aspect? I think we could go on years and years and years without ever kissing someone and we're not that bothered about that physical touch.
I didn't have a girlfriend for 7 years.
It doesn't really bother us. When we're together, yes, we are like always together.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we're not individuals that always need to be with affection.
Can't stand people like that personally.
Yeah.
I know people like that and I love them, but I just mean, can't stand, I mean, this is completely off topic from the question, but yeah, I can't stand people who are like, I need a girlfriend or I need a boyfriend. It's like I need someone else
or not
to
even
feel
that.
like a full person, because that's just a ridiculous
or not
idea.
Not even a girlfriend,
opinion.
but like, oh, I want to hook up with someone.
I mean, you know, you do what you want to do, but I'm just saying, I mean, all humans need to be loved and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, like, people who are like, oh, I need to be with someone, otherwise I don't feel complete. Got a problem there, definitely.
So we don't really have an issue. That's how we deal with it, go on with it. And whenever we're together, make the most of it. What inspires your beauty and aesthetic? Again, I don't think I have an aesthetic. I feel like that's not for me to say. I shoot what I shoot because I love it and because it caught my attention or because I wanted to remember it, and that's it. I'm not too bothered about it needs to look this way. I shoot what I shoot because I love it, and it's as simple as that. I'm not trying to follow a specific aesthetic. I'm not trying to anything. I do in the sense of warm tones.
Are you sure they're not talking about how you look? I'm pretty sure that's the question.
Is
your
it?
Beauty and aesthetic, because you've got like a style, haven't you?
Whoever asked me this, please let me know.
That's what I
comments.
thought.
Let me know, and if I did it wrong, I'll answer it to you in the comments. I'll go towards that then. First of all, it's very sweet. I mean, about my beauty and all that, thank you. But I don't think of having a specific aesthetic because it changes so often. It's the main reason why I change my hair color so much. I get bored really easy of how I look. So I don't think I have a specific aesthetic. Sometimes I can dress pretty 60s. Some other days I can dress pretty grunge. Some other days, it just depends on my mood that day.
Sometimes I call you an ego just to annoy you sometimes.
Yeah, like, I mean, it depends on my mood and whatever I'm feeling, and that's what I'll go with. The only thing I guess I would say, okay, this is my aesthetic. It's just my makeup. I feel like I have a pretty, like, my signature makeup. I never really change it. I always do pink across
Adamant.
here. Yeah.
Pink adamant.
Which is like being sun-kissed. That's how it's called. And I do, with my eyeliner, I draw 4 lashes at the bottom always because I feel like it makes my eyes look bigger. And that's a thing that Twiggy used to do, and I loved it.
I was gonna say Twiggy. So
ever
60s.
since I saw her do it, I'm just in love, and I was like, I'm gonna do that for the rest of my life. So I love how it looks, and yeah, that's a 60s thing. That's a 60s makeup trend, and I love it. I guess that's my only aesthetic, but that's how I discovered it. 60s inspired. What do you do for a living, and how do you get the money to travel to see each other?
I have had a few jobs in the past couple of years, all of which I've hated because I worked in retail. So I did like a couple of retail jobs, and like I said, I hated them. But I've been playing piano for the last 10 years. For those who don't know, I play piano piano, and I've always wanted to make that my full-time job because it's a passion of mine. I love music, and you know, I love creative stuff. I'm a really creative person. You're a creative person, creative people, and you know, it's ridiculously hard to make a living doing that, obviously, because it's all chance. But during lockdown, when COVID first hit, so 2020, I decided it'd be a good time to buy a lot of equipment and play around with the idea of starting to do gigs. So back home where I live, I go around doing gigs in pubs and stuff like that, mainly at the weekends. But you know, I also do weddings, and I do restaurants and any kind of, you know, thing, and I do piano and I sing. I decided to quit the job I had because I hated it, and I thought life is too short. I want to focus on what I want to do, and I want to try and make it work. And so far, it seems to have worked pretty well. Obviously, I don't make like enough money to live. You know, I live with my parents, which is a privilege that I'm extremely, you know, thankful for and everything for now. And you know, but I'm working at it, and so far it's going really great. You know, people love it, and it's a bit of a niche these days, playing piano, I think, and doing that kind of thing as a gig, like a piano bar style gig. Everyone wants to play guitar.
Yeah.
I guess the future, it's not clear, but it's kind of world's the oyster.
Basically, he's a pianist. Yeah.
I save up my gig money.
And I'm a film lab technician, which means developing and scanning and all of those things. A lot of people think that I'm a photographer. I mean, again, I don't know, it's a tricky one. I feel like it's not for me to say if I'm a photographer or not, but in the sense of like, I wouldn't say I'm a photographer in the sense of that I don't make a living that way. I've never ever, not even one time, have I been paid to do photos. It's always been just a hobby and that's it. So just a lab technician. I do the technical work.
And a bloody good one.
I'm behind the scenes. Oh, thank you. Best film camera for beginners. Again, they always ask me this too, and I cannot give you, no one will give you a certain answer, because I can tell you, oh, Pentax IQ Zoom EZY. And since film cameras are not manufactured anymore, it's really hard, because you can't just go to the store and be like, oh, I'll buy that one. You know, so if I tell you a very specific model, chances are you're not gonna be able to get it, or I mean, you can find it on eBay like that, but you never know the price or how well it was taken care of, or many things like that. So saying a specific model is very tricky, because again, like, they're not manufactured anymore, any of these cameras. I would say for beginners, a point and shoot.
So weird that, you know why?
Why?
Yeah, even though I know nothing about it, I was gonna say, what about a point and shoot?
Yeah.
Because, you know, obviously I've taken some of Pame's photos of her.
Yeah.
And she's taught me how to use a film camera. And obviously, I know point and shoots are pretty easy to use, so.
Yeah, I mean, the name says it, you just point and you shoot. You have to do nothing else, and it'll give you, you know, an idea of how film looks. Some point and shoots will allow you to change certain things, certain like apertures or things like that, but not like a mechanic. So it's great, you know, it'll help you to know how to load film, if you want to stick to it, loads of things. Some of them have insanely good quality, so just anything that you can find, I would recommend, you know, go to your local film lab or any film camera store that you could have. Thrift shops, they're always good, you know, but you really need to know about film cameras to see if like they're in good conditions or not. But yeah, just, you know, if you see a model of any point and shoot, look it up on YouTube, look at review examples of pictures, and if you dig it, go for it, and then you can upgrade to a mechanic. Well, I call it mechanic, but an SLR, any point and shoot, that's my suggestion.
Film nerd.
But at the end of the day, I do want to say it doesn't matter. The camera doesn't make the photographer. You can have it disposable and you can be a professional with it. It's not about the camera, it's not about the gear, it's about you. So it doesn't really matter. If you're good at photography, you can make a disposable camera work. Not because you have the best or the expensive gear, it means that you're going to be better at it. It doesn't work that way. So anything will work. It's all about how creative you are and how you can make things work.
A good worker doesn't blame his tools.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's a universal phrase or not. It's common in England though.
How do you got into film photography? Again, I've answered this so many times.
This one's for me, right?
Yes. I got into film photography because I've always been a fan of cinema and retro stuff, I guess. I love the look of 80s films, of 60s. At some point I was like, you know what, maybe I'm just gonna like take pictures with my phone and then I'll stick a filter on. But I thought it was quite disrespectful to the art of film photography, and I said, you know what, why don't I just buy a film camera and do it, like just shoot film. Which is my answer nowadays to like every reel that is like, oh, how to imitate the look of film. It's like, how about you just shoot film? It's as easy as that.
I cannot believe there was a point in time
I can't believe
where you wanted to take photos on your phone and then put a filter on it.
We're never gonna talk about this again. And yeah, I've always said it ever since I shot my first roll of film. I fell in love. It was like love at first sight, and I've never left film ever since. Right away after I started getting into film photography, I realized that my grandfather was a pretty big photography enthusiast, and he has tons of expensive cameras. I mean, every camera that I use, including my 120 Mamiya 645, which is a really expensive medium format camera and a really good quality one. Everyone's always jealous of me when I show that camera. That was from him. All of my gear, it was from him. Like, turns out he gave me more than 18 film cameras, more or less. He used to have his own dark room in his house, and he was just a big film nerd in terms of like a photography nerd. And I don't know, it was like that spoke to me a lot. It almost was like my family started saying like, oh, you know, it was in your blood all along and you just didn't know. Like it makes sense that finally someone in the family has that passion for photography, like him. So that's how I started. This is a comment. Do you have a twin sister that I can obsess over and fall in love, given that you're taken by Liam?
That's a weird comment.
Why do you have to say that?
I'd say we've got a simp alert. Stop being a simp. Get yourself together. Get yourself together. Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
What scanner do you use? That for me. I use a Frontier SP3000. That's the one. But obviously I do know how to handle the Noritsu HS1800. But I prefer the Frontier. I prefer to handle the Noritsu, but I prefer my pictures on Frontier. But it could depend on the negative. Depends on how I see the negative. I'll choose. How did you start working with photography? I think that's pretty much the same thing. Well, one was how did you got into film photography? How did you start working with photography? I don't work in photography. Again, all of the work that I do is out of passion because it's my hobby. I don't do it. It's not a job to me. I don't live of it. My job is film technician. That's what I basically know how to do. Photography is just like a hobby. I would love to know how you both keep your love strong when you are together. I think you made a mistake, and I think you meant when you're not.
When you aren't.
When you
together.
Aren't, because when we are, it's pretty simple. Because
Yes.
we are together.
Yes.
So I'm guessing that you meant to say when we're not together.
Yeah. How do we keep it strong? Probably going to repeat ourselves there with stuff we've said in the past. Obviously, we see each other pretty much every day still. Video calling, but you know, we still see each other, talking all the time. There's no loss of connection because we're not together in person, I think is what it comes down to, really, isn't it? There's never a loss of like connection or anything like that. I don't know much more I can add to that, really. We just...
Yeah, I think the main thing is we see each other every single day and we try to respect that. Because that's all we have. Because when we're not together, we don't get to go and have dinner, we don't get to go to each other's house, like we don't have that. All we have is that one video call, is that one time a day. So we try to like respect that and see each other every day, have that time for us, you know, like give that time dedicated to our relationship, a bit of our day to that. And I guess that's basically it. And being fully committed, you know, we never do things halfway, none of that is like 100% there.
Well said.
Are you originally from Mexico? You're doing a great job and you're beautiful, so whoever says otherwise is wrong. Thank you so much, that's very sweet. And yes, when I started promoting my YouTube channel on my Instagram, a lot of people were like, oh my god, I didn't know you knew how to speak Spanish, or I didn't know that you were from Mexico. And it's like, yes, some people told me I thought you were British, I thought you were European or things like that. No, he's British, I'm not, I'm 100% from Mexico. I was born here, I was raised here, I've lived here all my life, I rarely leave the country. I've only been to Europe once, which was last year, to visit him. I go to United States every now and again, like a regular northern Mexican Mexican human being, sorry. Yeah, born and raised in Mexico. A place you both can't wait to travel to one day, sending lots of love always. And this is from Lexi. And I want to say this because Lexi you like and comment almost every single one of my pictures on Instagram, so I know well who you are, and I really appreciate you always send me such nice comments. So I was like, I gotta say it. You make my day, you really do. Like, people like that is the reason why I continue to post on Instagram and shoot film, because like I could have some other inspirations, but things like that are my motivation. So thank you. A place that you both can't wait to travel one day.
Do you mean as a couple?
Yeah.
Or both, because you already know that I really want to go to New York and to Los Angeles. Obviously, when I go, I want to go with you. I want to go everywhere with you. I've got my own personal reasons.
Yeah, so he's really, obviously he's really interested in like America. He wants to go to New York and LA. I've already been to LA. Where I want to travel is Italy, Germany, and Greece. Those are my 3 places. I can't wait. I really want to go to Italy, Germany, and Greece.
I mean, I want to go to all of them. I've been to Germany, but Italy, never. Greece, never. Italy would be very nice for us, I think, as a couple. I've always wanted to go to Japan. You want to go to Japan. I want to go to Japan because I'm a big Nintendo nerd as well. It's not like I know a lot about Japanese culture, but I know they have quite a respectful culture. Obviously, it's a very interesting culture, and it influences our culture a lot in a way. I mean, like one thing with Nintendo. I mean, but for me, it's mainly the both coasts of the states at the minute.
Yes. Do you guys work with a team or on your own? Who does what? I was a bit confused by this. I don't really know what you mean. Again, I feel like a lot of people see me as a photography team business. I don't know if you think I have a huge...
I really don't think that question applies to me.
No, because it says, do you guys work with a team? Now, because I shoot a lot of pictures of Liam, especially after I met him, I don't know if you think that I have like a studio, we have a production team or something like that. No, it's all 100% me. My sister helps me a lot with light, with frames. If it's a picture of the 2 of us and we can't use a timer, or my sister is here, I'll explain to her the idea and then she will completely make my idea come to life. She'll make it true. So that's basically it.
If that's the case, then that just goes to show how good your work is. Aww. Really, isn't it? At the end of the day. So I mean, you obviously don't have a team or anything like that. So again, that's just what happens when you're passionate about something and you work hard, I guess. The results show. Nothing to ask. You guys are a real inspiration. Heart. Thank you so much. Very sweet. Yeah, very sweet. And last one. Which song reminds you of one another? Oh, that's difficult. I'll tell you why it's difficult, because I haven't thought about it. I listen to like, it could be any song anywhere, and it could have like a lyric or something that reminds me of you. It's very specific or something like that, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. We said this yesterday. Half the World Away by Oasis, because that's literally where she is. Yeah. Half the world away. Even if the song's meaning doesn't add up to us, but it still reminds me of you. But loads of songs remind me of you. Too many songs. Too many. I could probably listen to any song and pick something out of it. Yes. And obviously, when I listen to the Beatles, I think of you. And there's that association of the Smiths, and you know. Yeah, I guess to me it's the same thing. The Smiths really reminds me of him. Piano Man specifically reminds me of him. I think Piano Man reminds most people in my life of me. Yeah, because he loves Billy Joel and he loves to play that song. He's my main man. So it reminds me of him. It's my nickname as well, isn't it? Yeah. Most of David Bowie's songs remind me of you. Probably Moonage Daydream remind me of you a lot. And another one, just because it reminds me of a specific time when we were in the UK. December 1963. December 63? Yeah. I love Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I thought you were going to say Stars by Simply Red as well. That as well. That's what I thought you were going to say. Stars by Simply Red. I always listen to Stars by Simply Red. Gold, Spandau Ballet, yeah. Yeah. I really love feel-good songs. Proper groovy tunes, or like, I'm a big fan of soul music and stuff. So those are the songs that reminds me of him. And that's it. Well, that was a pretty long video, I think. But those were some of the questions. We didn't do all of them. But again, you can always leave questions, whether like on my Instagram or in the comments right here, if you ever want to see another Q&A sometime. If you guys have another suggestion of a video that you'd like for us to do, if you want to see him try anything from Mexico, you have anything that you want to see, let us know in the comments. Now's the time. And that's basically
basically it.
Empire Strikes Back. That's a banging film. That's one of my favourite films. I'm still thinking about my top 10 favourite films. I'm still stuck back on that question.
Yes, he's
I know when
he's
once
a massive Star Wars fan.
once this video ends, I'm gonna be like, as if I didn't say that film.
Anything else you want to add? Okay, so that would be it. Again, we'd love to read your comments. If you watched the whole thing, thank you so much. It really helps because if you've been following me for quite some time, you know that this channel was monetized, but I left YouTube for 2 years because I thought I was never gonna come back.
An American Werewolf in London.
But I did come back to YouTube, but since I left for 2 years, I'm not part of the YouTube partnership program, but I will again very soon. So every time you watch one of my videos and you watch the whole thing, you're technically helping me to see him. You're supporting this relationship.
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it. All the jealous boys are clicking off the video right now, you know. Thank God it's the outro, right?
Yeah, and if you want me to travel more to see him, watch the whole video. That's all you have to do. So thank you. And we'll see you guys for another video. Bye.
Bye.